You made me cry. Good thing I have no makeup on.
You look so pretty.
Oh my gosh. I don't even okay, so I have not done a show in no makeup since my 1,000 QVC shows.
Do you think I have? What are you talking about?
You look exactly the same though.
Oh.
You look exactly the same.
You made me cry. Good thing I have no makeup on. You look so pretty. Oh my gosh. I have not done a show in no makeup since my 1,000 QVC shows. Do you think I have? What are you talking about? You look exactly the same though. You look exactly the same.
Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer. I am so happy to have you here. Okay, very first thing I want to disclose to you, I am wearing a full face of makeup. That is right, full face of makeup. And if you were wondering, is Jennifer born with it or is it Maybelline? I can tell you right now, at age 51, this is Maybelline, okay? Do you remember those commercials from the 80s and 90s? Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
From Maybelline. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
This is Maybelline, okay? And I make no apologies for it. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I am not wearing makeup when I obviously am. I'm not even gonna wear light makeup and tell you that I'm not wearing makeup, even though I am. Nothing is more annoying. People don't like to be lied to. And that is why I am making this video. I'm sure you have seen by now the interview. Well, again, we're not calling it a podcast interview. Let's call it an infomercial. The infomercial from the Jamie Kern Lima show where she interviewed the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. And we're not going to talk about the commentary on it because, again, I'm sure we all know about it. And you've probably seen my 3-part video series, my commentary on that infomercial. And yes, I'm a lunatic. I made it 3 parts because I thought it was like the ultimate case study in narcissistic gaslighting. And it was just fascinating because you're watching Meghan try to rewrite history and try to talk to us as if the last 5-6 years that we've seen her and Harry's behavior play out in the press, it was like it never happened, and she's just this person that is so wonderful and so put upon. It was just fascinating and just despicable behavior, and I just don't appreciate being lied to. I don't appreciate being gaslit. I don't appreciate being made to feel guilty because I don't like the way someone has acted and behaved, but yet they're gonna make you feel bad because you're calling out bad behavior. So I go into all of that. I will link it in the description. It is 3 parts, so I would definitely recommend get yourself a tasty beverage and buckle up because it's a fun series. It's kind of like the trilogy, if you will. If you are new to my channel, or if you only know my channel from all of my royal family commentary videos or my videos that I make about celebrity culture, you may be pleasantly surprised to know that I am a licensed esthetician and a makeup artist. I have been one for over 20 years, and I have always loved skincare, always loved makeup. That's actually how I started my channel, talking about skincare and makeup. So for me, it really stuck in my craw, so to speak, when I was watching that infomercial, and Jamie Kern Lima, the host, and Meghan, they made a pointed effort at several parts during that infomercial, at least 2 or 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, of pointing out to us that they are not wearing makeup. They are not wearing makeup. At first, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they're not wearing makeup, even though I could look at Meghan and I could look at Jamie and I could definitely tell that they were wearing makeup. Although it was very tasteful, it was very light. They both looked very pretty. I am not here to bash on anybody's looks. That's not what this is about. But after about the second or third time of Jamie pointing out, we're not wearing makeup, we're not wearing makeup, we're just sitting here in the rocking chairs. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what is the point? Why do we keep banging on about the fact that we're not wearing makeup? I found it so annoying. Seeing someone who is obviously sporting the no makeup look, but yet saying that they're not is just, it's extremely irritating to me because I can look at that and know exactly what they did to get that no makeup look. It's just dumb is what it is. It's just dumb and stupid, and I don't know why they would make a point of making that an issue. I mean, I think I know why they did that. I want to talk about why that's irritating and why it's just dumb and we shouldn't do that. And then I'm going to insert a little tutorial that I'm going to talk you through how to do a no makeup look on days where you just want to look put together, but you don't want to bother with the whole shebang. And you just want to throw something on really light to even out your skin tone. Just give yourself a little bit of polish without feeling like you have to take a lot of time. So if that sounds good, if you want a quickie little tutorial, if you want to discuss about that whole debacle, stay tuned. So what started off this whole thing? Jamie Kern Lima. I know a lot of you that watch that podcast Infomercial had never seen or heard of her before, but more than likely, if you're a woman that enjoys wearing makeup and going to places like Sephora and Ulta and you like to shop for makeup online, I'm sure you've heard of It Cosmetics. She's the founder of It Cosmetics. And Jamie got famous by going on QVC and hawking her very, very first product from It Cosmetics. And it was something called Bye Bye Concealer. And it was actually a great product. It was a well thought out, good product. It was a concealer that offered a ton of coverage, but it didn't cake up and look heavy like a lot of foundations and concealers. And I believe that the way that she developed that particular product was she put a lot of pigment in the product, but not a lot of weight. There wasn't a lot of texture to the product. There was a ton of pigment. So you were able to get the coverage without that weight, kind of heavy, cakey, cracky like feel that you would get with a lot of concealers. And what Jamie would do is she would go on QVC and she would tell the story about how she was a newscaster and she suffered from rosacea. Now, rosacea is a skin condition that can be really debilitating for a lot of women. Your face can get so unbelievably red and it can start to feel prickly, hot to the touch. It can feel itchy. Rosacea flares up out of nowhere. It can flare up for tons of things. Allergies, skin sensitivities, the list can go on. It manifests in the cheeks, under the eye, down. A lot of women experience this rosacea primarily on the cheeks or even the lower parts of the face where your face looks splotchy red. It can manifest all over, but particularly under the eyes, on the cheeks, and on the lower face. So what Jamie used to do is she would go on camera on QVC to sell her concealer, and she would appear on camera, look really pretty, look really cute, and then she would take a makeup wipe and she would proceed to wipe off half of the makeup on her face. And you would see how unbelievably red this poor lady was. She was red all over, but primarily really red and concentrating here on the cheeks and the lower part of the face. And then what she would do is she would take her concealing products, and later, as she expanded, she made a CC cream, which means a color correcting cream that contained a lot of pigments. She would tout it as kind of like your all-in-one skincare. It was your moisturizer, it was your serum, it was your evening out, it was your SPF, and it was your coverage. And she would put it on and it would cover everything. You would obviously see that it was makeup, albeit light makeup, it was still makeup. So that's how Jamie gained her street cred, so to speak. She was sweet, she was personable, she would talk about all of her skincare woes related to rosacea. And you know, I definitely feel for the woman because she would be a TV news anchor, have hot lights on her, and she would get so anxious and the rosacea would start flaring up that it would start almost eating through the makeup. You could see her getting red, and she tells how her producers, when she was doing the news, would be like, your face, something's wrong, you just look red. So it was this whole deal that she basically built her career on selling and starting It Cosmetics by saying, look, like it can cover even this super red, life debilitating condition known as rosacea that I suffer from, that I'm sure so many women suffer from too. And also myself, I have personal experience with that, being an esthetician, giving facials, working in spas and medi spas. I've seen clients with full blown rosacea. I've talked to them about how to deal with it, how to calm it, what to do and all that. And I see how red it is and how debilitating it can be. So I knew about Jamie and I knew about her history. So when I'm watching this podcast infomercial, I'm like, okay, I can still see her pink cheeks. To me, it looked pretty. It looked like she had a flush, probably a little bit more of a flush than most of us have. But I do kind of feel like she strategically covered up, but left her cheeks so that it would look like she had a pretty flush. But I knew she was wearing makeup. I just knew. And same thing for Meghan. I could tell that she had a soft evening out of her complexion. We've all seen pictures of Meghan without makeup. We do know that she has a lot of freckles and she does have a little bit of an uneven skin tone and pigmentation on her face, which is totally fine. I personally think freckles are quite charming, but you can definitely tell when someone that has that type of complexion is wearing even a super light evening out, like a tint or like a tinted moisturizer or a super light foundation. And even more than the foundation, I was looking at Jamie and her eyebrows do look somewhat polished. Even though it's very really light eyebrow makeup, it does look like she has something. And to me, it looks like she has tattooed eyebrows on. Now, before you recoil in horror, there's a lot of women out there that do things like that. They tattoo their eyebrows and they also do what's called the lip blush, where they do a very light, almost like a skin tone lip liner, and then it's filled in so that you look like your lips are just a touch above what your natural lip color would be, but it just looks really soft and pretty. I don't know if she had that, but personally, I was looking at her eyebrows and thought, okay, either that's a light eyebrow pencil or powder, or she's got the light tattooed eyebrows on. I was looking at her eyes and it does look to me like she has a little bit of some soft eyelash extensions going on. They are very natural and they are very pretty and fluttery, but I could definitely tell that there's that going on. I really do like a super light DIY eyelash extension look. I've even got a video tutorial where I tell you how I do it. I used to go get my eyelashes done in a salon for about a 6-month period, about 3 years ago or so. That turned out to be crazy time consuming and expensive. So I told myself I was just going to start DIYing it at home, learn how to do it. And my whole technique, the way I've got it now down pat, I can make them last anywhere from 4 to 7 days, taking care of them and looking really pretty. So I'll link that down below. If you hate mascara, but you want to just have a soft, natural eyelash look, you'll definitely want to check out that video. So it does look like she had brow grooming going on, eyelashes going on, whether it was a light application of mascara or natural looking eyelash extensions. I do think it looked kind of like Jamie had a light application of maybe a shiny lip balm, but it did look like she had something on her lips. And as far as Meghan goes, she did have a super light evening out on her skin. I did notice that. I think that she did a really light brow look. I'm thinking she probably just did an eyebrow mascara, like a light brushing up of eyebrows. As far as Meghan's eyelashes goes, I don't think she had eyelash extensions on at all because her lashes did not look the way that Jamie's did. She probably had a brown mascara or a clear mascara, and it looked to me like she just had a very simple, super natural lip balm. But I was scratching my head and I was thinking, okay, so you keep going on about the fact that you're not wearing makeup, which I think is a little funny considering that she made her $1 billion by founding a cosmetic company. And she wouldn't have made $1 billion had she gone on QVC and talk about, you don't need to cover up your rosacea. She wouldn't have anything to sell or peddle to anybody. It's just all this weird hypocrisy, all these inconsistencies. It just doesn't even really make sense. They're obviously wearing makeup. How stupid. Why are you even bringing that up? Who cares? Wear it, not wear it. I guess that is how stupid that they think we are. Doesn't make any sense to me. This is another dumb thing that was brought up that was meant to elicit some type of response The whole thing was just really silly. So they could say no makeup until the cows come home. I am entitled to my opinion, and in my opinion, I know makeup when I see it. I feel like not only were we gaslit by a lot of the inane conversation that was going on, but then the cherry on the sundae of that interview to me was the fact that we're not wearing makeup, we're not wearing makeup. And I was just, please, you are so wearing makeup. Albeit light makeup, it's still makeup. There was probably kind of a few things going on there. The first thing I thought was there are so many people out there in culture right now, famous celebrity people, that are constantly talking about inclusivity, talking about positive body image, all that kind of stuff. The idea is you need to accept people for who they are. So if that's the case, haven't we evolved past that whole I'm not wearing makeup thing? So what? Wear makeup or don't wear makeup? Why is this even being made an issue? And then it dawned on me that the reason why they kept bringing it up is because it was a ploy. It was a way for them to disarm you in a sense, to make you feel like, look, we are bearing our souls here. We have nothing on our face. We have nothing to hide. We're coming to the table and we're just going to spill the beans, and we're making ourselves vulnerable by not covering our faces up in makeup. So therein, you should trust everything that we're saying. Human beings operate like that to a certain extent. Of course, we notice looks and we notice the way that people look, but I do like to think that the majority of us have evolved to the point that we look to people's actions and we look to what people say, and then we make our judgments and determinations as to what's going on and what we're observing. So for me, I don't trust Meghan whether she has makeup on or not. I don't really know that much about Jamie beyond what I knew about her before with the way she founded her company and seeing her on QVC. I love makeup and I love skincare, and I just knew I wanted to talk to you guys about it. And if you don't like to wear makeup, great. There is so much wonderful skincare out there that can get your skin looking the best that it can look at the age that you are. And I've always said that the best makeup is good skincare. So if you're the type of woman that never wears makeup and thinks that you never want to and you look beautiful without it, first of all, I'm sure you do look beautiful without it, and good, more power to you. Who cares? Do you? And if you're the type of woman where sometimes you like to wear it, sometimes you don't, awesome. Or even if you're the type of woman where you would never leave the house with at least something on your face, there is nothing wrong with that either. For me, I think fibbing about the fact that you're not wearing makeup, even though you so clearly are, speaks to something going on there. There's inconsistency, there's gaslighting. You can just smell that kind of stuff. If you are interested, I'm going to insert a little video right here where I'm going to talk you through exactly what I do to get that no makeup look so that you just look pretty and polished. You can really see your skin. You don't look made up. Sometimes you just want to even stuff out. You want to even out your skin tone, do a little super light mascara, a little bit of a balm on your lips, and just be done with it. So that's what this look is all about. So what I'm using here is one of my favorite no makeup foundation skin tints from Ilia, and it is, I believe, an SPF 40. And what this is, it's basically like skincare and foundation in one. And if you are a normal to oily combination skin type, this one is going to be awesome for you because there are wonderful moisturizers and plant oils in this specific formula, but it's not sticky and heavy. And you really, really work it in and it feels like skincare, but it does leave a super light veil of coverage and a tint. So mind you, if you've got things that you really want to cover, like pigmentation, acne, things like that, this isn't going to give you a lot of coverage. But even if you have that and you really don't care, you just want to do a quick evening out of your skin, this one is perfect. And it is an SPF 40, and it's got mineral SPF, meaning that it's not a chemical sunscreen. So especially if you are super irritated by chemical sunscreens and you're looking for either zinc or titanium dioxide, you're going to like this one. So as you can see, I'm just basically massaging this all over my face and a little bit under my chin and neck. And I just use wide sweeping, blending in motions. I'm not using a brush, just use clean fingers and work and massage it in. Because like I said, it's like skincare and it's really nice. The next thing I'm going to do, and this is completely optional. This is one of my favorite cosmetic products of all time. It's not really a concealer. It's something from Trish McEvoy called Instant Eye Bright. And there's, I believe, 3 different shades in the line. So if you're light, medium to darker skin tone, you just choose that shade accordingly. I believe I have the lightest shade. This one's got a little bit of a pinky tone to it, but what this is, it's like a corrector and a brightener, but it has 0 texture in it. So what I like to do is if I'm feeling a little bit dark, because I tend to get bluish purple here on the inner nose bridge and around my eye, I apply that around in that area. And then I also, as you can see, I'm putting it on my eyelids just to conceal small little purpley blue veins on my eyelids. And it really is nice because if you're going to wear eyeshadow, on days when you do wear eyeshadow, it's a nice base, but it also just kind of just evens out the lid so that you look a little bit more bright and awake. What I just showed you right there was the Morphe Skin Brightening Powder. And what I like to do is I like to do a very light dusting of that all over just to set the skin tint. But before I do the powder, what I like to do is I like to take my Creme Seint Makeup palette, and I have a video where I go into my cream makeup palette. It's called See-Through Makeup. I'll link that in the description. Now this is, again, this part is optional too. So what you saw me do with that Trish McEvoy Instant Eye Lift product around my eyes and on my eyelids, that is completely optional. And so is this step. If you have little acne marks or pigmentation or just little things that you want to cover, but you don't want to put something heavier all over the face, do what I'm doing here. Take a little foundation brush or a concealer brush, and you just basically dab just on those little areas of pigmentation where you want a little bit of extra coverage. Now what I'm doing here is I am taking a bronzer shade with a small, medium-ish fluffy brush, and I am just applying where the sun would naturally hit me to give me a little bit of warmth. Because for the no makeup look, you can give yourself life back into the face with a little bit of a bronzer. And there's so many different colored bronzers out there now. There's bronzers that are gold toned, green toned, violet toned, red toned, just depending on what would look good with your undertone. I like one that's kind of like a pinky red undertone because it looks like how my skin looks when I get a little bit of that natural sun-kissed glow. Well, I don't really do it now. I used to do it when I was young. So I do that all over, and then I took just a tiny little bit of a cream blush and applied it just to the upper apples of my cheeks. Now that is going to go down a little bit and look more natural once I do that super light dust of powder. But for me, I'm a normal to oily skin type, so I really do need a light dusting of powder just to set that skin tint. And what I'm using there is the Morphe Skin Brightening Face Powder, and it's talc free. It's super light. I dust it on my hand first to excess, and then I just very gently tap all over, just on those areas where I tend to have a little bit of midday shine. But I also do a very light veil all over, again, just because I'm a little bit more oily and I get an oily breakthrough. If you are super dry or normal to dry, you might be able to skip this step and be totally fine. I just show you here what I do for my skin type. But again, the thing that's cool about doing a light dust of powder is it keeps everything in place, especially that under eye bright that I put under there. That's gonna kind of lock and seal that in, but it also tones down the bronzer and that little bit of cream blush that I put on as well. And as you can see, the blush doesn't look as bright now, the bronzer doesn't look as warm, and it's just all settling down and looking more like my skin, as my skin would look if it was just a really nice bare see-through kind of makeup tint look. And that's exactly what this is. So this is the type of makeup that Meghan was wearing in that infomercial she did with Jamie Kern Lima. Very light, just an evening out of the skin tone. And now what I'm doing is I'm just basically taking that same cream makeup palette from Seint, and I'm just going back really lightly over the tops of my cheeks and on the tops of my forehead just to bring a little bit of life back in. But again, my skin still looks super natural. If you saw me in daylight with that look, it would look like my skin. It would not look like heavy makeup. That's the look that we are going for here, that no makeup look. Now, this next step is optional. If you have very strong brows, you might not want to do anything to your brows other than maybe comb them up and maybe put like a clear brow mascara on or something. I am really sparse right in here. especially as I've gotten older. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is I brushed my brows up first, and then I'm taking an angled eyebrow pencil in a medium ash tone. And this one is from Wet n Wild. I got it from Walmart, and I believe it's under $3 or something. It's one of my favorite ones of all time. And I just basically just go lightly and I follow my brow, starting from the inner corner, and I do feather-like upward strokes right here. And then I just go along the brow, and wherever I see a little bit of sparseness, I try to get down onto the skin to deposit that brow color. Again, this part is completely optional. Now, I think in that interview, Meghan probably just did a little bit of a light brow colored mascara. She doesn't look like she's wearing brow pencil like what I'm doing here. Jamie, to me, since Jamie is more of a fair coloring, I think for her, and this is completely my opinion, I think that she has permanent tattooed brows. They're done very well and very tastefully, but that's my opinion. Either that or she did a very, very light brow pencil. But Jamie does, in that interview, have brow makeup, and she also has false eyelashes on. In my humble opinion, nice natural false eyelashes, but false eyelashes nonetheless. Now in this video, I'm not going to do false eyelashes, but what I am going to do is just do a very light application of a dark brown mascara. And brown mascara is beautiful if you want to go for a no makeup look and you have coloring similar to mine or lighter. Black mascara does tend to be a little bit more dramatic. However, if you have naturally black hair, then black mascara is fine. But if you have brown hair to lighter hair shades to blonde, brown mascara is going to give you a more natural look. This is one of my favorites from L'Oreal. I believe this is the Lash Paradise brown mascara. I'll link it in the description below, but I really like the L'Oreal Lash Paradise brown mascara. That's the one I'm using there. And I always curl my eyelashes first, then I apply the brown mascara. I like a little bit more of a drier mascara formula because I feel like it looks more natural, and I like a voluminous formula because I feel like, especially as we get older, I'm 51, your eyelashes and your brow hair, it all gets sparser as you get older. So I like volume building mascara formulas. They tend to be drier and they look more natural and you can build them up. Super wet mascara formulas, I don't like at all. And I really like that teddy bear brush where it's made of, it feels like, not like fabric, but you know those silicone tipped mascara wands? I really don't like those. So this is what I'm doing here is I'm taking one of my favorite Makeup by Mario lipstick colors, and I do a light application of it, but then you'll see me wipe it off. I'm not wiping it off completely. I'm leaving a tiny little bit, but what I do is, you see how it's left a little tint of color after I wipe that off? And then I take, that's one of my favorites. It's a Seint lip gloss, or sorry, it's kind of like a balm, but in lipstick form. And it's got a tiny bit of iridescence, but it's clear. And you see how that just looks like my lips, their natural color just kind of plumped up a little bit. Yeah, so that is basically it. That is all I'm doing. I will link all the products that I use down below in case you're wondering. I'm really, really smiley in that video, I gotta say. But that's really all there is to it. There's several products in there. The eye brightener from Trish McEvoy, the eyebrow pencil, the powder, those are optional. You could even do less than what I did in that video and still look really pretty. Just the idea is you want to even out your skin tone. And what's nice about that skin tint that I was using, and so many CC creams and tinted moisturizers and things like that out on the market now, is you get sun protection, which is crucial for going out during the day. You want to even out your skin tone, brush up and groom your brows, super light mascara, but only if you want it, and then just basically a balm or a super light lipstick or gloss, something that looks like your natural skin color, that doesn't have a lot of pigment. So that's basically it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and this tutorial. I just wanted to make it because, again, as a makeup artist and an esthetician, nothing irritates me more than when women are obviously semi-polished, but they try to act like I'm not wearing makeup and all this kind of garbage. And it's really stupid. It's a non-issue. I don't know why they bring that kind of stuff up, but I didn't want you to feel like you were being gaslit or deceived. So you're not crazy. They were wearing makeup. It was just a really light hand. It was a really soft, no makeup look. So now you know what it is. You know how to recreate it for yourself at home. I thank you so much for spending this time with me and for helping my channel grow. And I will see you very, very soon. Bye.
You made me cry. Good thing I have no makeup on. You look so pretty. What are you talking about? You look exactly the same though. You look exactly the same.